you for joining me here today, and what a beautiful day it is. And welcome to a response to Father Mike on how do I know if I made the wrong choice? Now, Father Mike, I come in Christian love to you and all the viewers. And I was called over 20 years ago to consecrate the Eucharist within the Catholic Church, and Mary has been helping me on this call. And I'd just like to add, and I'd just like to speak about this a little bit more. How do I know if I made the wrong choice? I'd like to tell you a little story. One day I was laying on the bed and I was going through some challenges, and I'd been waiting for God to answer. And, you know, sometimes it can be difficult to wait for God, and sometimes we just want to go out and rush out and do what we want to do. So I was laying on the bed and this vision came into my mind. And in the vision, there was a forest, all these beautiful green trees around, and there was a track, you know, like one of those dirt paths that you see in between the trees. And I looked at that path and I thought, maybe I should go down that path. And a voice said to me, you can't go down that path. You have to wait for God. And I thought, you're right. I do. I do have to wait for God. And so I looked to my left, couldn't see God. Looked to my right, no God there. I looked back to the path and I thought, I think I should go down that path. I do. And the voice said, you can't go down that path. You have to wait for God. And I said, well, maybe if I just imagine in my mind that I'm walking down the path. I'm just going to imagine it. And the voice said, okay, well, that's what you want to do. So I started walking down the path. And as I walked along the path, God spoke to me. And God said to me, I don't think you should go any further. I think you've gone far enough. And I said, no, it's all right, God. There's a little bit further. I'm going to go a little bit further. And so I started walking along the path, even further along, and God came to me again. And God said to me, I think you should really think about this. You know, I think you should turn around. I don't think you should go any further. And I said, God, I appreciate what you're saying to me, but I want you to know that I have learnt from my mistakes. I've learnt, and I appreciate everything you're saying, but I know what I'm doing. I'll be fine. So off I went. And as I walked further along that path, I could suddenly see a sign ahead of me. And I thought, oh, a sign. Oh, well, it's only a sign. See signs out in the bush, that's fine. I'll just keep going. So I did. And as I grew closer to the sign, I realized that there were some words on it. I couldn't exactly make out them clearly, so I started to walk a little bit faster, see what the words said. And as I walked faster and I approached closer, I could see the words clearly. No through road. And I thought, that can't be right. There has to be more road. There has to be. Maybe there's a way around it. So I looked, but no. The road had ended. There was nowhere else to go. You know that sinking feeling? when you've heard God's voice, when you know you're going down the wrong path, when God tries to warn you, to stop you, and you don't. And I had a very, very sinking feeling, because now not only was I going to have to go all the way back, but I was going to have to get down on my hands and knees and crawl back and pray for forgiveness from my God. But fortunately, that was a vision in my mind. And my mind was saying to me, you have to wait. Because if you go without waiting, that is what you're going to find. You're going to only find more pain and misery at the end, because you will know that you did not listen. But fortunately for us, very fortunately, we have a forgiving God. I did not have to crawl back, and I did not have to beg for forgiveness, for God was with me. God was right there with me all the way along. God had not left me, had not abandoned me. And when I went to walk back, God was there with me, walking back and assuring me that God understood, that God loved me and knew my pain and my humanness. God holds us as precious. God holds us in its heart. God sees us in our brokenness, and God wants to be there for us. God has promised us, I will never leave you, and I am your rock. I am your shelter. I am your fortress. Come to me, and I will give you rest. Come to me, and I will help you. Do not be afraid if you take the wrong path, because God is right there with you. Now, sometimes when we're walking along that path, we have other people in our lives. So we have to be mindful that though we really may think we're on the right path, and perhaps, you're trying very hard to stay on that path through reconciliation with others, we must always pray for God's help and guidance, always, to help us to choose the right path, to make the right decisions. Stay close, pray to God, listen to God, and understand that if sometimes things do not work out, it may not have been because you didn't try, if there are other people involved. But again, God will hold you, God will comfort you, God will never reject you, God will whisper words to you, I am here. Do not be afraid. Isn't it a beautiful gift? No matter what path we take, if we stay close to God, we will meet God along that path. We will. And God will bring us home. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope I've helped someone today. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will be praying for you today. Thank you.